Hey, here I am with my angry self. Ooh, I'm just watching some TV here and talking about, I guess it's some Eminem song, and it's like these white kids having a party. And it's Eminem, he's saying something about a white trash party. And, I was just taking some pictures of myself. I wasn't even really watching TV, and I heard that song, and I was like, I gotta see if there's any black people at this party. Because, I mean, to me, Eminem's all right with me. He's all right with me. I usually think of him as kind of crossing the line of okay, I'm white, I'm a stereotypical white person, I can't rap, I can't hang out with Dr. Dre or anything like that, but anyway, so usually we see Eminem in the context of him being like a people call Michael Jackson like a transitional artist, but usually see, someone like Eminem is kind of like someone that kind of isn't as, just for, I mean, he's a white artist, he's not just for white people, he's not just for black people. I think people like usually say that about someone like Michael Jackson, but I guess I kind of feel that way about Eminem, and here's a song about the white trash party, and I really shouldn't care, like stereotypically, you shouldn't care, because in a way, it's like him, because that definitely is a stereotype, like so is like a stereotype of a white person that is derogatory, more like socially unacceptable, is like white trash, or even like trailer trash or whatever. And so he's celebrating that, right? So he's not ashamed of that, and he's made a song about it. But the kids at the party, they really don't seem like they would be the white trash party types. In fact, they seem like once they would be finished with school and stuff, that they would they would be, like the more stereotypical, white success. They would not be white trash kids. Let me just give you a little of a glimpse. I'm not sure if this is even allowed. It's on the Comedy Central. Oops, okay. Okay, yeah, I really don't do good when I try to take some shots of something that is not me when I make a video. But anyway, so I just want to comment on that. I didn't really comment that much, so, but my comment on that is that I don't know. I just feel like there's so many branching out ways of being okay to be white and just to be acceptable as being white and stuff, and I don't know, I don't feel like I see a lot of that in other avenues or whatever, like, but that's not even the point. Like, I was gonna say, like, I mean, there's not, like, a lot of people saying, it's okay to be different kinds of black, but I feel like with being, like, white, like, there's just so much, just, like, of a broad spectrum of more so okayness and just, I don't know, and I guess, like, somebody would be mad, like, if they were, because I do see people like that around, like, I think I even wrote something kind of rude once on Twitter, like, about some white people that I saw at a McDonald's in the ghetto, and, like, they were, like, kind of staying, like, they were like a group, and they were at the McDonald's, and they don't seem, actually, to be honest with you, just my feeling is just a little bit of discomfort, but that's common for me with most people, except, the more, if I did see the more, I maybe would feel more comfortable around them or whatever, because it was like when I went to start being in the, quote unquote hood more, I was like, oh, people are gonna tell me it's dangerous here and stuff, and I really did not find that to be the case, and I felt like I felt a lot of comfort there after a while, because I just felt like, I guess being homeless, I was kind of homeless living out of my car, and I'm not necessarily not homeless now, but whatever, I'm not living out of my car now. Obviously, you can see I'm in a place that provides shelter. It's a hotel room. But, I don't know, I felt like I was, like, in embarrassing situations, like, sometimes I looked kind of bad, and, I'll be, like, sitting in my car just on the, on the side of the street, and like you know, I don't know, and I just feel like to some extent there is some acceptance, or either just like nobody cares, you know, nobody cares. And well, I just felt like I just had more of a warm reception, and that sounds so unfair, but that's how I felt, you know. And people like to, in this world, which I do call devil world, they like to say that the stuff that you feel and stuff that we'd like to discredit that like a whole lot, you know. And to me, that's just incredibly ridiculous to do that. But you know, growing up as somebody who had very strong feelings about things, you know, I grew up in a world that says that fuck your feelings, you know, all the time. Like, how you feel doesn't matter, how you feel is wrong, or how you feel is just inaccurate, doesn't match reality. You know, being a very emotional person, in touch with my emotions, very expressive person, I grew up in a world that pretty much said, who gives a fuck about how you feel? And you know, what are you doing paying attention to how you feel, because it's total shit. It doesn't mean anything. It's not worth anything. But anyway, so how I felt, there was just much more accepted, much more just like okay, and that nobody cared if I was brushing my teeth in the car, or if they didn't care, they said something funny, and I still was like, no, don't notice me. You know, but they just like people, you know, it's not every person, but every now and then there'll be somebody that like gives some attention that is not, is like somewhat accepting or joking or trying to make you feel comfortable, that's not intentionally doing that. That's just how I felt, and that's just how the people are in my experience. And that sounds really unfair, and that sounds really racist, but that is my experience. And to be honest with you, I went to school with a very different population for most of my school life, and I feel like sometimes I'm being unfair when I say stuff like that. I feel like that things are very racist, and that I feel like I do see white people all the time, and I guess it's like, well, this is just life, you know. It's today's segregation, and today's segregation is no longer called segregation. It's just called, this is how life is, and people will just stay with who they're comfortable with, and people will just end up in this mix, and they go along with it or whatever. You know, there are all kinds of excuses when you do randomly, or when I do randomly maybe bring it up to somebody that I feel like, oh, this person's kind of cool, maybe I'll mention it to them or whatever. When that does happen, it's always all of these kind of excuses for it. But you know, having grown up in an environment where I was with that every day, like in school and stuff, it was not something that felt like it was okay. It felt very cold. It felt very different from being in an environment where there was more of a racial mix, or more of, actually, just when I went to the South was the only time that it was better, or when I went to a more predominantly black school in an area where it was like more black dominance or black representation in the school population. It was okay when I was in the North in Pennsylvania, but then I did go to a school where it was more white people, but it was black people there too, but I guess it was still just like a white area. It was very hard to go to school there. Then I did go to another school after that. That was middle school. And I went to another school after that, and just like all white kids. And so anyway, so I've been in those environments. So I've been there. I do think it's better, and at least the places that I've been in the South, like Alabama and North Carolina, sometimes it is better. Virginia, my experience there was not really very, I guess maybe the places I was living, but I don't feel like it compared to my experiences when I first moved from the North to North Carolina. It was like a big change, but the change was from a predominantly white school to going to a more mixed school, and it was just better. And when I did go from North Carolina to living in Alabama, the areas I was living in where there were, I guess, a significant amount of black people, and there were white people there too, it was just better. It was just a lot a lot less racist. Like I remember being really surprised seeing like some white people doing some of the lawn work at the apartment complex where I went, where I was used to just seeing Mexicans, but there were in North Carolina there would just be Mexicans doing the yard work, like at the apartment complex where I lived. But when I went to North Carolina, there were some white people doing it. There were some black people. I don't really remember seeing any Mexicans doing it, but I just felt like when I went to Alabama, like definitely they have a bad reputation with race relations, but when I went there, I felt like it was better, maybe, and I thought maybe it was because they did have that at the forefront. Well, hey, we're seen as being racist here, and we want to address that here. I don't know, maybe that was part of it, but that was my conclusion. But anyway, so I just wanted to say that sometimes it just seems very harmless, but if you can trust your feelings, like, and believe that you are a legitimate source of information, that you don't have to get all of your information from books or from people that are considered authorities or experts that have more knowledge than you, or in some other way better than you, or more reliable than you as a source of information, or as a reflection of what is real and what is not real. And definitely is being diagnosed with mental illness or schizophrenia. I think people are considered that because they are out of touch with reality. But this reality, or this world that we live in, is very much so encourages you to disregard the reality that you sense or that you feel, and to always depend on these outside sources of reality or spirituality. Like, you're not even spiritual unless you go to church or you read the Bible. For example, you can't have your own experience of God, or even talk to God, or be at all kind of in this reality. I hear it all the time, like you believe in God and stuff, you don't go to church, and then you talk to like a religious person that always wants you to go to church. It's like always about these things outside of yourself, that you to always disregard yourself, always brush yourself off, always see yourself as the lowest of the low and the least important of whatever things there could be in the world. You are just the least important, least valuable thing that there could ever be. So this world, and that is one of the things that would, in my opinion, be a part of devil world, where human beings are so low, so disrespected as these creations of God, compared to this dollar, which is a creation of, I don't know, whoever made it. I guess we're supposed to assume man made it. I don't know. Who cares? So this dollar bill, which they say doesn't even represent like the gold or whatever that it used to represent anymore. So whatever. So all of this distance, all of this, but anyway, so yeah. So, but I was just saying that I just feel like, now they're on TV is a rapper rapping about a white trash party, and it's like rap is stolen, and then like the party is all white people. It's like this world where black people are just totally irrelevant, totally useless, totally meaningless pieces of shit, who just are failures, and they just can't do what, white people can do. And, we don't even need them at the party. We don't even need them in their own music that they made at the party. And it's a great party. It's got some rap music, I guess. No, black people need it, not in the party, not in the music or whatever. And that's fine, that's fine. I just need to be able to say what I want to say about it. And then heard the rap music. I do tend to like Eminem. I don't like a lot of his newer stuff that I hear on the radio. I have not really sought out hearing other stuff that's not on the radio. But I don't usually delve really deep into music, even though I really like music. I don't really delve really deep. I kind of just will appreciate what I'm exposed to, and then if I look into that and find some other stuff and I like it or whatever online or wherever. I used to buy my music on iTunes, but in the money department haven't been really, I've been more cheap actually than I used to be in the money department, where I used to buy more music and I don't, and I wasn't before I got homeless or whatever. But anyway, so I just wanted to say that I guess TV is not really the best for me anyway, but since I have TV and I have a place to hang out now after being homeless for a while, I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch TV and stuff and just chill out and vegetate some and stuff. And, I feel like it's not long before you watch enough TV and you see how fucked up stuff really it is. It's really fucked up. When I go out into the world, I feel like it's not as easy to always notice because you're doing other stuff, you're shopping, you're whatever, and you're going out into the world, and there's people out there, and they seem like they're just fine and stuff, but I know what it's like to be there around, you know, people day in, day out, all, when it's been all white people now, when it's been all black people now, when it's been a mixture in a certain area. It depends on the area, but I feel like I have had some experiences here and there to know that the seeming okayness or friendliness that is on the surface sometimes with people, it doesn't go very deep if you were to spend more time with them or talk to them at length. You know, it's like it seems like people are okay with you, you know, you're shopping at the store with them and stuff like that, and I guess it seems like, oh, you're working next to them, and it seems okay, but like, and do I think that it is just me as a black person? Or I feel like if I was a more white black person, like if I had a lot of money and I was, you know, maybe I was married, if I was more, what do you call it, knowledgeable of the game or of the facade of white life, if I was more into that, where I knew that, and I guess was accepting that people are kind of fake and they are like not really happy, and that, you know, I don't know, that they're not really acceptable as they are. I don't know. I had an experience one time that sounds really fucked up, I know, but I had experience with somebody before, and I felt like I was able to see that. And I think all white people are like that. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like there was people that are friends with my sister, and they seem pretty cool, but definitely there were some times where it was apparent that I was not acceptable because I did not have like a high-paying job, and I didn't have like a nicer car and stuff like that. You know, where I've never been able to really get with the way of life that this world considers success. And the way of life that this world considers success is that way of life that is most exemplified by white people. And when black people are able to do what white people do, which is like, I guess, have their spouse, have a high-paying job, in a house in their neighborhood, etc., or whatever, or in a nice house and stuff like that, that is their success. This is the country that white people built on the, they built it by enslaving black people. I mean, this reality is not one that ever changed direction from what it started from. It never changed direction. It never did. I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. saw what white people had. He never wanted anything different. He just wanted to have a piece of their pie that they made and they baked and they had been eating. You know, he never wanted anything different. He just wanted to copy what they had. We never had a change of direction from the values that stemmed from how they took this land and how they took these people's lives away from them because they could not see any equality or any value. And who knows if they saw any value in themselves, but obviously they saw some value in their way of life, that they thought it was better than somebody else's way of life. And they thought they were more advanced. There was no real, in my perspective, there was no real examination or borrowing. And there was only this idea that, you know, I guess some people didn't have more things, or I guess they didn't have the guns to kill, you know, them the way, you know, they, or whatever, you know, whatever. So, you know, I'm just saying there was never anything that changed from, no one ever said, hey, we don't really want to have a reality that stemmed from people believing that no other people could be as valuable as them, or worth anything, and none of their ways, none of their ideas, nothing. Nobody ever said that. That's what I was thinking too earlier. It's really weird that nobody ever gave a shit about that, and they just wanted to copy it, you know, like Martin Luther King Jr. just wanted to copy their shit, you know. Nobody ever wanted to come up with anything different, ever. So, whatever. So I'm just saying that I'm seeing that here in the show that I'm watching. There are some funny parts to the show, but I'm just saying, like, there is just like, this is the life. These are the people here. These people This is just what people do. This is just what people do. This is what people do when they're white. This is what people do when they're white. No, this is not what all people do. This is not, like, I feel like there's just like this idea that this is the only way things could be, and that white people are the only symbol of success, and that white people, and there's never any other consideration that anybody else might have some fucking ideas as to how the world should be. Like, there's just no fucking concern whatsoever. So, that's just what I'm saying, and I feel like there's just still this I'm seeing in the show, and I'm commenting it to you, this desire within these people to kind of once more blot out the others, even as they steal some of their contributions and pretend it's their own, and it's a white trash party or whatever. And it's like there's a group of people that is just totally irrelevant, and for some reason, I guess, is not worthy of a show that, oh, it's funny, there is a black girl here, but it's just like, I don't know. And then I dismissed it, but there's one black girl, but you know, there's always the token black person. And this is the integration that we're all satisfied with, right? Anyway, so, these are my comments, and I guess it seemed like that's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, this is angry, black person has a problem with something. She doesn't have anything legitimate to say. This is how things are. And all these people are just so crazy when they have these ideas. This is all a part of it. This is all a part of it. When somebody has something to say that, clashes with, the quote-unquote norm, which the norm is really just the white way that is the norm or whatever, because, years and years and years, they just blotted out anything else that, was not white. Anything white was less than. It's still the same way with any other race other than white. It's not just black, it's any other race is less than. And so we just pretend that it's normal, and it's like at the back of our minds, and we talk to people, and it's the back of our minds, and it's always there, and it just never gets touched on, it never gets mentioned, because why? It's just the way things are. It's just the way things are. But I don't know. I decided there's one person who thinks it's not okay, and so, it's a black person. She's so crazy. Oh, what's wrong with her? Oh what's wrong with that crazy? Look at her. She's doing that scarf. She's homeless. Oh my, she doesn't have a place to live. But anyway, it's like, it's like I know this stuff too, or whatever, and anyway. So that's it, and it's gonna end there. It's almost as long as a television show. In fact, it probably is with the commercials. Almost 23 minutes. So yeah, these people here acting like it's normal. It's not. They're not. You're not normal. Hello, there's some segregation going on. Race is a part of your life every day. Don't say it because you don't want to be racist, but you are. You're racist, and you're just trying to pretend that it's not on your mind, that you have not thought about race. Obviously, the people who made this show here thought about race to the motherfucking utmost, and it's so wrong for me to say this. It's so wrong. Oh my God, it's so bad. You can't talk about race, you can't say white, you can't say black, didn't that stupid actor say you can't say, so stupid. So stupid. It's just so dumb. It's alright though. Anyway, that's my video. It's alright because I realize it, and I'm not going to be blotted out like this culture blots out anybody that has any kind of, opposing, point to this way of life. It's been blotted out through history and demeaned throughout history, so it's not going to be any different today. It's the same way. It's the same, but I'm not going to be blotted out. So from to that extent, it's okay. Anyway, so that's it. Said my piece. I was like, hey, I have a problem with this. And so now I've said something. So that's it.